Imagine you're looking for help and you go to your trusted spiritual guide only to step into something very horrible. Tonight, we dive into the horrifying case of Ahmad Suradji, the black magic killer, whose brutal crimes left a haunting mark on Indonesia's history. This isn't just a story of a man, it's about shattered lives, and getting justice served. But long before he became a feared serial killer, Ahmad Suradji was just a normal boy, growing up in rural Medan. Born on January 10th, 1949, into a normal family of farmers. His childhood seemed unremarkable on the surface, but even at early age, there were, slight signs of trouble brewing beneath. His father was a strict and superstitious man. He often spoken of spirits, rituals, and unseen forces that guided their lives, while many in their community also shared their beliefs. Ahmad's father did take it a step further, teaching young Ahmad the power of black magic and how to use it to control others. Ahmad also witnessed the darker side of his father's teachings. While the villagers respected his father's knowledge of magic, they also feared him. There were whispers that Ahmad's father cursed people who crossed him, leading to sickness and misfortune. This reputation left an impression on Ahmad, who learned earlier on that fear is a very powerful tool. Some believe that Ahmad's fascination with black magic wasn't just about dominance. He reportedly feared that his own life would be cut short if he didn't fulfill any of his father's commands. This combination of fear and ambition became the foundation of his deadly path. Ahmad didn't just want to be respected, he wanted to be feared because that's what he's seen his father do whilst he was growing up. And he knew that he had everything that you could want in his eyes. And when he claimed the title of Dukun or shaman, he found the perfect way to blend his childhood lessons with his darkest ambitions. By the 1980s, Ahmad Suradji had established himself as a dukun, a spiritual healer, and a shaman. In rural Indonesia, dukuns hold a significant role. They're seen as intermediates between the spiritual and physical world, offering help to those in need of healing, fortune, or love. But Ahmad's intentions were far from noble. In 1986, Ahmad claimed to have had a life changing dream in which the spirit of his father have appeared and commanded him to kill 70 women and drink their saliva. According to Ahmad, the ritual would grant him an unmatched power as a shaman. Convinced of his father's spiritual wisdom, Ahmad turned his vision into a deadly mission. Although originally he said that his father said that he only had to drink the saliva of the 70 women, but he did later on also change it to saying he told him to kill as well as drink their saliva to give him the unimaginable power. Anyway, here's a chilling detail that is often overlooked that Ahmad believed that the saliva of his victim contained life force. He also claimed that the placement of their graves mattered. He buried them in a specific circular formation near his home, believing this would enhance the powers of the ritual and his daily power usage as well. His methods worked, at least in the eyes of the villagers. His reputation grew, and more women came to him for help, unaware that they were walking into a death trap. And also, by what we mean that his methods worked, nobody obviously knew that he was killing anyone. They just seen that the things that he did for other people, for the fortune and what have you, worked. And but obviously nobody ever said that, oh yeah, well, he killed such and such, that's why it's worked. So of course nobody knew about that. That was just a different thing. Um anyway, Ahmad's victims came from all walks of life. Most were women who looked for help for personal struggles, such as marital problems, financial issues, or, you know, the love interest that they wanted to pursue them or, love them back, essentially. They were very vulnerable people, and he exploited that vulnerability to gain their trust. And one of the things he also did use was his wives. He had three wives, one of whom, named Tumini, played an active role in finding women to visit him. Tumini reportedly convinced the woman that Ahmad could solve all of their problems, making her an accomplice in his horrific scheme. So once the woman arrived, Ahmad would lead them to the sugarcane field under the guise of a cleansing ritual. There, he would bury them up to their waist, leaving them immobilized. Then he would use a cable and he would strangle them, claiming their saliva would fortify his spiritual energy. The sugarcane field became a mass graveyard for his dark rituals. And of course, he did involve his wives into it, and he did keep a lot of the stuff from the woman too. So, Ahmad's crime went unnoticed for years, but his downfall came in April 1997 when a farmer discovered a shallow grave containing the body of a missing woman. And of course, police were covered, and then as they started digging, more and more bodies were coming up. Of course, it's crazy to think. And over the course of investigation, authorities exhumed 42 bodies buried in the sugarcane field. Each victim has been murdered in the same way, so they did at least know that they had one perpetrator that did it all. And he was one of the top suspects, just down to the fact that of where he lived and how close he was. So, of course, he was the go-to person. What's less commonly known is that Ahmad initially denied the killings. It wasn't until the police found the ritual objects in his home and ropes, cables, and handwritten notes about his dream that he confessed in his chilling details about everything that he had done. But he did originally say that in his dream, that first time, he said that, he just collected the saliva, he didn't kill him. And then he went forward and actually said, well, you know what? That's what actually happened. And then later on, when he started talking, he took a massive pride in his crimes. He had no remorse, and he even offered to guide police to more graves. And of course, that shocked everyone. Everybody demanded justice on everything that they had found and everything that he had done. I mean, it's an unimaginable thing to find for families that had their family members missing. Anyway, in 2008, Ahmad Suradji was executed by a firing squad. His three wives were also arrested, even though only Tumini was convicted of her involvement in luring victims. And one of the things that didn't know, which is not actually mentioned in the case, is the fact that somebody did bring up the human rights right before the firing squad were executed, but they literally didn't care. They didn't care. They said, he's got a death sentence and that's that. So it didn't matter to him. And after his death, the more disturbing rumors persisted. Some villagers believed that the area where he lived and committed his crimes were cursed. And, locals were reporting strange occurrences near the sugarcane field. Others questioned whether Ahmad believed in black magic was real or if it was a elaborate excuse to justify his sadistic desires. And of course, that left a scar on Indonesia itself because, that's such a prolific serial killer right at their door. And, it highlighted the dangers of blind faith, the exploitation of cultural beliefs, and the importance of critical thinking in the face of authority. His victims went after, help and healing, and they ended up become a tragic symbol of betrayed trust initially, which is, is horrible on its own. But his story is just, about betrayal, manipulation, and the darkness that can hide behind even the most trusted faces. His name may fade in history, but his impact of his actions will never be forgotten. Thank you for watching this episode with Behind the Blood. If you found it interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And remember, always question what lies beneath the surface. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.